We are going to learn a chapter called Arithmetic Progressions. In short, it's called AP. So let us first try to understand what is meant by arithmetic progression. So the word progression usually means that there is some improvement or there is some order in the arrangement of some terms. So here we are going to arrange numbers in a particular sequence, in a particular progression, in a particular sequence in which they are improving, like ascending or descending, but with a pinch of arithmetics. In the sense, they should involve mathematical expressions as well. So what do I mean by that is, for example, let me write a few AP on the screen. So this is one AP and this is one AP. So this is also one AP. So we have a few arithmetic progressions written on the board. Now each of them is called as an arithmetic progression because all of them have a first term. So there are two conditions that so this is called as a series. When you write numbers like comma, comma, and then you write it like a sequence, it's either called a sequence or a series. And when is a sequence or a series of numbers called an arithmetic progression? If there are two conditions, one, if there is a first term, and also if there is a common difference. Common difference, I'll explain both these. If both of these are there, then you call that particular sequence or the particular series of numbers as arithmetic progression. For example, if you look at the examples that I've written over here, you can clearly see there is an first term. Here the first term is 1. In the second one, the first term is 2. The third one, the first term is 1. And there is a common difference also. What I mean by that is, the difference between the consecutive terms is called as common difference. Consecutive means next terms. If you try to subtract them, you will get the same number. Only if you get the same number, it is an AP. For example, 2 minus 1. You have to always go from the second term to the left. 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. So all these ones are the same. That is called as common difference. For example, if you look at the second example, 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 4 is also 2. Since here also we have the same difference, it's also called as the common difference. 4 minus 1 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. 10 minus 7 is also 3. Here also we have the same common difference. For example, let me give an example of element of something which is not an AP. Minus 2, 5, 10, 12, and so on. So let me take another series. Here, when you subtract these two, when you subtract 5 and 2, you get 7. How come you get 7? Because 5, I'm subtracting and there is a minus 2. So this gets added and you get 7. Likewise, 10 minus 5 is 5. So here you can clearly see that the differences are not the same. So therefore, it is not an AP. So for something to be called as an AP, it should have a first term and all the differences till whatever they have given, till the number that they have given, till that all the differences of the consecutive terms should be the same value. So this is something that we need to know. Now let us learn the notations. The first term of an AP is represented as A and the common difference is represented as D. Which means, let me show it for the third example. For the third example, A is 1 because that is the first term. So common difference can be written as D equals A2 minus A1. Here A2 represents the second term and A1 represents the first term. So second term is 4 and first term is 1. So you get 3. Again, for the next two, A3 minus A2. A3 represents the third term and A2 represents the second term. So this will be 7 minus 4. This will be 3. So this is how we represent the terms and common difference and all of that. The first term is called A. Second term is called A2. Third term is called A3 and so on. So this is how we understand the basics of arithmetic progressions. So let us learn how to do question number 1 in exercise 5.1. So when it comes to exercise 5.1, we are going to just deal with the basics of arithmetic progressions. So the first question goes like this. We have to convert the situations into numbers and then we have to check whether they form an arithmetic progression or not. So the first subdivision, they are very clearly given. that the taxi fare after each kilometer, when the fare is 15 for the first kilometer, which means for the first kilometer, the fare is rupees 15. This is the fare for the first kilometer and 8 for each additional kilometer. So for the next kilometer, for example, if a person is, so the question they have very clearly given the taxi fare after each kilometer. That is the context. So after 1 kilometer, it will be 15. After 2 kilometers, it will be 15 plus 8 because there is an additional 8 rupees. And after 3 kilometers, it will be 15 plus 8 plus 8. So this is how the AP is. So some of you might be wondering the AP is 15,8 and so on. No, they have very clearly given in the question that the taxi fare after each kilometer, that is the context. So after 1 kilometer, it will be 15 rupees. But after 2 kilometers, 15 and then 8 for the additional kilometer. It will be 23. For 3 kilometers, 8 rupees more. So this will get converted into an AP, which is 15, 23, 31, and so on. So this is our required AP. And how do we conclude? We just do the calculation and we show it. Let me show it on the left side. A2 minus A1, A3 minus A2, and so on. So now A2 minus A1 means second term minus first term. I'm doing it in the left side of the screen so that it's clear. So you know A2 minus A1 is second term minus first term. So second term is 23 minus first term is 15. Now this will give you 8. Likewise, third term minus second term. Third term is 31, second term is 23. This will also give you 8. Since the common difference is the same, we can say it is an AP. We need not do the fourth term. It's okay if we do the fourth term also. So minimum three terms is needed so that we can check the common difference is same or not. So when I do A2 minus A1, second term minus first term, I'm getting 8. And when I do A3 minus A2, even then I'm getting 8. So therefore, we conclude by saying this situation is an AP. When it comes to second subdivision, they have very clearly given the amount of air present in a cylinder when a vacuum pump removes 1/4 of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. So let me assume there is a cylinder and the amount of gas that is present in the cylinder, let it be some V. The volume of gas that is present in the cylinder, we will assume it as V. This is the volume of gas present in the cylinder. Or volume of air present in the cylinder is capital V. Initially, the volume of air present is this much, till the brim, till the top, you have air inside the cylinder. Now the question goes like this, the amount of air present in a cylinder when a vacuum pump removes 1/4 of the air remaining in the cylinder at a time. So the first term will be V because that is the volume of air present in the cylinder in the first place. Now there is a pump that removes 1/4 of this volume. So 1/4 of this volume is removed. 1/4 of the volume is removed. Out of V, a portion of 1/4 has been removed. That is clearly given in the question. But then what will be the balance? The balance in the cylinder will be V minus 1/4 of V. This is very important. Whatever the volume that is already there, from that we are removing 1/4 of the volume. So 1/4 of this volume is removed, something like this. So this portion is taken out. So whatever is remaining, no, that is what we need to write it as an AP. It's clearly given in the question. If you look at the question, it's clear that the amount of air present in a cylinder when a vacuum pump removes. So after removal, how much gas is there? So it goes like this. The overall volume is V. And from that V, we are removing 1/4 of that volume. So when we remove 1/4 of that volume and we take LCM, you get into 4 into 4. You get 4V minus 1V by 4. This will give you 3V by 4. So in the second stage, after removal of this 1/4 of volume, the cylinder will contain 3 by 4V. This will be the volume left in the cylinder. So that will be our second term. So this will be the second term of our expression. 3 by 4V. This is the second term. Now I repeat, initially the volume is V, from which we remove 1/4 of the volume. 1/4 of V we are removing. So what is left? That will be V minus 1/4 of V. You will get 3V by 4. Now again in the next step, we are removing 1/4 from this again. If you look at step 2, so what is the volume that is already present? 3V by 4, from which we are removing 1/4 of 3V by 4. From this volume only we are removing 1 by 4, not from the initial volume. So now the volume is 3V by 4, and from that 3V by 4 we are removing 1/4 of 3V by 4. So in the original volume is 3V by 4 and we remove 1/4 of 3V by 4. So again here when you just take LCM, you will be getting 9V by 16. That is the term that we'll be getting, but I can even show it to you. So 3V by 4 minus 3V by 16, this will be the expression. So when I take LCM here into 4 and into 4, you get 12V minus 3V, which is 9V by 16. So this is what we will be getting. So this will be 9V divided by 16. So this is something that we need to know. And yeah. Comma and dot dot dot. We need not do the next steps. So this is the required AP. V, 3V by 4, 9V by 16, and so on. Now let us try to figure out the common difference for these to see whether it is an AP or not. So we all know how to find the common difference. So basically, let me do the AP is given in the on the screen. So let me do A2 minus A1. A2 minus A1 means second term minus first term. So second term is 3V by 4 and first term is V. Now when you take LCM here, when you do into 4 and all of that, you will be getting minus V by 4 or minus 1 by 4V. Both are the same. This is the difference that I'm getting for the first two terms. Then I'm going to do A3 minus A2. So when I do A3 minus A2, 9V by 16 minus 3V by 4. Here the LCM is 16. So I'll be doing into 4 here. The numerator will become 12V. So that will give you minus 3V divided by 16. We can clearly see that the common differences are not the same. Here it is something else, here it is something else. So we conclude by saying it is not an AP for the second subdivision. When it comes to third subdivision, they have clearly given that the cost of digging a well after every meter of digging. So they have given after every meter of digging, we need to find out. So when it costs 150 for the first meter, for the first meter, it is 150, which has been clearly given. But if the work is done for 2 meters, then you raise the cost by 50 rupees. So it will become 200. So some of you might be wondering it is 50. No. For the second meter, it is 50. But for 2 meters put together, it is 150 plus 50, which is 200. So likewise, the next one will be 250 and so on. So this is something that we need to do. So the cost of digging a well after every meter of digging. So after first meter of digging, it is 150. After 2 meters of digging, there is 50 rupees more. If you read the question, you'll understand. It rises by 50 meters, 50 rupees for each subsequent kilometers. For the next one, it is 250 and so on. And when you do A2 minus A1 here, you get 200 minus 150. So you get 50. Likewise, if you do A3 minus A2, third term minus second term, you get 250 minus 200, you get 50. So you can clearly see the common difference is the same. So therefore, it is an AP. With respect to third subdivision, it is an AP. Let us look at fourth subdivision. The amount of money in the account every year in the sense per annum after every year, when 10,000 is deposited at a compound interest at 8% per annum. So what we mean by this? For the first year, the amount is 10,000. That is very clear. They have given 10,000 is deposited. So now you're opening a bank account and you're depositing rupees 10,000. The second year, you will gain an interest because you're saving it. You will gain an interest of 8% per annum. So what we mean by that is, if you look at the screen, I would like to do it in red color. So there is 10,000 rupees. Okay, and then 8% per annum means there is an increment of 8%. Percent means 8 by 100 into the 10,000. So this is the interest rate. and this is called the principal amount. So the interest will be added to the principal amount. So for example, if you withdraw the money after 2 years, you will get the 10,000 along with some extra interest, and that extra interest has been given as 8% per annum. So 8% means 8 by 100 into 10,000. Now, when we do this cancelling and all of that, we get rupees 10,800. So if you're going to withdraw your money after 2 years, you will be getting rupees 10,800, which I would like to update in the AP. Now, this is for the second year, but when you do it for the third year, how much money you're left with? That is 10,800, not 10,000. For third year, the money that you were saving is 10,800 plus again 8% of 10,800. It's not 10,000 because after 2 years, the amount gets incremented to 10,800. Now 10,800 plus 8% of 10,800. Like this. So you will be getting around 10,908. Sorry, this has to get multiplied and then you get an answer. So we get a value 11,664, and that will be the third term of the AP. We need not keep going. This is enough just to find whether it is an AP or not. And now when we do A2 minus A1, let me erase this space. Yeah, so when we do A2 minus A1, for this particular AP, I would like to do it here. So when you do A2 minus A1, you get 10,800 minus 10,000. So you will be getting 800. And when you do A3 minus A2, you will be getting 11,664 minus 10,800. This will give you around 864 or something. So you can clearly see this is 800, but this is 864. The differences are not the same. So therefore, we can say it is not an 8. So when it comes to second question, they have given the values of A and B, which is the first term and the common difference, and we're supposed to find the AP as such. For first subdivision, the first term is 10. They are very clearly given. To get the subsequent terms, we have to add 10. And they have asked for the first 4 terms. So from A equal to 10, we understand that the first term is 10. And then we add 10, you get 20. And then we add 10, you get 30. And then we add the common difference, you get 40. So, and then you just write some dot dot to show that it's a continuing AP. Likewise, for the second subdivision also, the first term is minus 2. And then when you add 0, it has no significance. So again, you get minus 2. And when you add 0, you again get minus 2. And you add 0, again, you get minus 2 and so on. So this is with respect to second subdivision. When it comes to third subdivision, they have clearly given the first term as 4. And then you are about to add minus 3. See, to get the next terms, we have to add the common difference. But the common difference itself is minus. So it gets subtracted. Actually, we have to add to get the subsequent terms. When you look at the first subdivision and second subdivision, we are adding. Here also we are adding, which means 4 plus minus 3. We are adding the common difference, but this plus and minus become minus, and it gets subtracted. So the second term you will be getting 1. And again, for this term, we again do plus minus 3. This becomes 1 minus 3. You get minus 2 as the third term. So the third term will be minus 2. And again, you add minus 3. So this will become minus 5. So this is the AP for the third subdivision. I repeat, you're adding the common difference, but since the common difference itself is negative, so it gets subtracted. So after 4, you get 1, and after 1, you get minus 2. And after minus 2, you get minus 3. That is because minus 2 and minus 3 will give you minus 5. So you get minus 5. When it comes to fourth subdivision, first term is minus 1. That is very clear. Second term, I'm doing it here. First term plus common difference. So when you take the LCM here, this becomes into 2 into 2. So we get minus 2 plus 1 whole divided by 2. With the first term, we are adding the common difference, and you take the LCM. So you get into 2 into 2. So the numerator becomes minus 2 plus 1 by 2. So you get minus 1 by 2. This will give you minus 1 by 2. That will be the second term. So this will give you minus 1 by 2. Again, with the second term, we are adding common difference, which is half. So minus half and plus half will cancel, will give you 0. So the third term is 0. Again, with the third term, we are adding half. So this will be half. So the fourth term will be half. So this is what we are getting for fourth subdivision. When it comes to fifth subdivision, first term is minus 1.25. I'm writing it over here. And for which we are adding minus 0.25. So when we add, there is already a negative sign. So both of them will get, you'll be getting minus 1.50. Again, when you add minus 0.25, you will get minus 1.75. Again, when you add minus 0.25, you get minus 2.00 or minus 2. So this is the AP for the fifth subdivision. So this is how we do all the 5 subdivisions for second sum. When it comes to third question, they have already given it, they are APs, and we are supposed to find the first term and common difference. For the first question, and see, we need not do all the differences like how we used to do the previous problem, because they've already given it's an AP. So any two consecutive terms can be taken to bring the common difference. For the first subdivision, A is 3, and common difference is, maybe we can use second term minus first term. Only that. Okay, so we get minus 2. So the first term is 3 and the common difference is minus 2. This is for the first subdivision. For second subdivision, the first term is minus 5 and common difference can be done either by taking any two consecutive terms, need not be the first two terms like how I did in first subdivision. So the first term is minus 5, and for this one, for a change, I'm taking 7 minus 3. This can also be taken. Fourth term minus third term can also be taken to get the common difference. So for this question, this is A and this is B. For third subdivision, A is 1 by 3 and common difference is any two consecutive terms. I'm taking second minus first. So this will give you 4 by 3. This is the answer for third subdivision. And for fourth subdivision, the first term is 0.6. Okay, and then the common difference is any two terms, 1.7 minus 0.6 or 3.9 minus 2.8, whatever it is. So you'll be getting 1.1. So these are the answers for third question. When it comes to fourth question, we are also supposed to find whether they're an AP or not. So first we have to check whether it is an AP. If it is not an AP, we just stop. And if it is an AP, we just find the next three terms. That is what is being expected out of the question. With respect to the first question, see how I'm doing the steps and all that. A2 minus A1 will be 4 minus 2. This will be 2. A3 minus A2 will be 8 minus 4. This will be 4. And we stop here. We need not do 16 minus 8 because when we do the first two steps itself, we are able to see that the differences are not matching. So A2 minus A1, second term minus first term is 2, whereas the third term minus second term is 4. We can clearly see that the APs do not, the differences do not match. So therefore, it is not an AP. So this is the conclusion for the first subdivision. With respect to the second subdivision, I do a very similar thing. I do A2 minus A1. So A2 is 5 by 2 and A1 is 2. Some of you might be having difficulty with fractions, so please listen. So A2 is 5 by 2 and A1 is 2. When you take LCM, you get into 2 into 2 here. So the numerator becomes 5 minus 4 by 2, which is 1 by 2. So you get 1 by 2 after taking LCM. So let me explain the LCM step. You have by 1 here. You do into 2 into 2. You get 5 minus 4 by 2, which is 1 by 2. Likewise, for the next two terms, that is third term minus second term. So third term is 3, second term is 5 by 2. Again, you take LCM here. Again, you will be getting 1 by 2 when you do into 2 and all of that. Again, so since they are matching now, you can see it's 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So we check for the next term also, which is A4 minus A3, which is 7 by 2 minus 3. Again, when you take the LCM, you get 1 by 2. So you can clearly see the differences are the same. They are common. So since the common difference is same, we can conclude by saying it is an AP. Because for this question, the common difference is the same. And also, they have asked us if it is an AP, we need to find what is the common difference. The common difference is 1 by 2. That is what is being repeated. And we're also supposed to find the next three terms. And you know how to find the next three terms. The last term that is given in second subdivision is 7 by 2. So you add the common difference to that. So you get 8 by 2, you get 4. and then you get 4, and then you add 1 by 2 to 4. Then when you take LCM, you will get 9 by 2. That will be the next term, 4, 9 by 2. Again to 9 by 2, you add 1 by 2, the common difference. You get 10 by 2, which is 5. That will be the next term. So we are supposed to find the next 3 terms. So we conclude by saying the next 3 terms are 4, 9 by 2, and 5. So this is how we conclude for the second subdivision. So since the second subdivision is an AP, we find the next 3 terms by adding half. Half is the common difference. So for 7 by 2, we add half, we get 4. And again 4, we add half, we get 9 by 2. Again, we add half, we get 5. So this is how we find the other parts. When it comes to third subdivision, it is very clear. So when we do A2 minus A1, we get A2 is minus 3.2. There is minus in the formula itself. And then A1 is minus 1.2. So this becomes minus 3.2 plus 1.2. So you will be getting minus 2.0 or minus 2. I repeat, second term minus first term, but the first term itself is negative. So these two negative will become positive. So one is negative, one is positive. So we subtract and write the bigger number sign. All this is very much basics. Okay. And then we do A3 minus A2 for the same thing. We do A3 minus A2. That is the third term minus second term. So third term is minus 5.2 minus second term is minus 3.2. So we get minus 5.2 plus 3.2. So here also we get minus 2. And for the next 2 terms, we have to keep going till the end. We have to stop only if they are in mismatch. So A4 minus A3 is minus 7.2 minus 5.2. Fourth term minus third term. So here you get minus 7.2 plus 5.2. Here also we get minus 2. So we can clearly see, if you look at the red color boxes, we can clearly see that the common differences are the same. So therefore we conclude that it is an AP. And if it is an AP, we need to conclude the common difference. So the common difference is minus 2. And we should also find the next 3 terms. The next 3 term, that is fifth term, A5 will be minus 7.2 plus the common difference, which is minus 2. So minus 7.2 minus 2, you will be getting minus 9.2. So likewise, you again add minus 2, you will get minus 11.2. You again add minus 2, you get minus 13.2. So these are the next 3 terms. Minus 9.2, minus 11.2, minus 13.2. When it comes to the fourth subdivision, again I'm doing the steps. So A2 minus A1 will be minus 6 minus 10. So this will become minus 6 plus 10 and you will be getting 4. Likewise, A3 minus A2, third term minus second term, which is minus 2 minus of minus 6. This will give you 4 again. Again, when you do A4 minus A3, we get 2 minus of minus 2, you get 4. You can see this term minus this term, fourth term minus third term. So you again get 4. So we get 4, 4, and 4. So the next 3 terms, we just add 4. So this is an AP because the common difference is the same. So the common difference is 4. And for the next 3 terms, we add 4. That is the last term that they have given us 2. So you add 4, you get 6. And then you add 4, you get 10. And then you add 4, you get 14. So these are the answers. So this is how you do the fourth. When it comes to the fifth question, fifth subdivision, please look at the steps. A2 minus A1. So A2 is 3 plus root 2 minus A1 is 3. Now 3 and minus 3 will get cancelled. You will be getting root 2. Likewise, A3 minus A2, third term minus second term. Third term is 3 plus 2 root 2. Second term is 3 plus root 2, but within brackets. This is very, very important. When you subtract the third term and the second term, we should be very mindful of using a bracket for the negative, for the second term. You can see I've used a bracket. Now, when we remove this bracket, you get 3 plus 2 root 2 minus 3 minus root 2. This minus becomes minus into plus becomes minus. Now 3 and minus 3 will get cancelled. 2 root 2 minus 1 root 2 will be root 2. Likewise, we do for fourth term and third term also. Fourth term is 3 plus 3 root 2. We have to keep going till the end. Minus third term is 3 plus 2 root 2. Again, we should remove this bracket. So you get 3 plus 3 root 2 minus 3 minus 2 root 2. So 3 and minus 3 will get cancelled. And then you get 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2, which is 1 root 2. So you get root 2, and root 2. Since the common differences are the same, we concluded by writing it as an AP. You can clearly see the red color boxes. The common differences are the same. We write it as an AP. And since it's an AP, we need to conclude the common difference. So the common difference here is root 2. And we need to find the next 3 terms. So when it comes to fifth term, it is nothing but fourth term plus root 2. Root 2 is the common difference. So you'll be getting 3 root 2 plus root 2, will be getting 3 plus 4 root 2. Likewise, we can get the other 2 terms also, which will be 1 more root 2, that is 3 plus 5 root 2, and 1 more root 2, which is 3 plus 6 root 2. So these 3 are the blue colored box is the next 3 consecutive terms of the AP. So this is how we do the fifth subdivision. So this is quite important. And also with respect to the sixth subdivision, let us try to figure out the sixth subdivision also. So I'm doing the sixth subdivision next to the space. So we do A2 minus A1 to check whether it is an AP. So A2 is 0.22 and A1 is 0.2. So this will give you 0.02. Likewise, A3 minus A2. A3 is 0.222 minus A2 is 0.22. For this, you will be getting 0.002. Now it's very clear. You can look at the green color boxes that the first number is 0.02, but the second difference you're getting is 0.002. So both are not the same. So we conclude by writing it is not an AP when it comes to sixth subdivision. When it comes to seventh subdivision, let us try to write the steps. So first is A2 minus A1. A2 is minus 4. Minus is in the formula and A1 is 0. Anything with 0 doesn't have significance, so we just write minus 4. A3 minus A2. A3 is minus 8 minus A2 is minus 4. We use a bracket and this becomes minus 8 plus 4 and we'll be getting minus 4. Likewise, A4 minus A3. A4 is minus 12. Formula you have minus. And A3 is minus 8. So minus 12 plus 8, you will be getting minus 4. So it's very clear that all the 3 common differences are the same, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. So we conclude by saying that it is an AP and therefore we find the next 3 terms. But before that, the common difference is minus 4. We conclude that. So when we add minus 4 to the next term, that is fifth term, will be fourth term. Fourth term, you can clearly see it is minus 12. Plus the common difference, which is minus 4. But though we are adding, it gets like minus into minus becomes plus. Plus into minus becomes minus. So you get minus 16. And likewise, when you add another minus 4, you get minus 20. And when you add another minus 4, you get minus 24. And these are the next 3 consecutive terms of this AP. Minus 16, I'm not writing the steps. You can fill it up later. So minus 16, minus 20, and then minus 24. These are the next 3 terms of this particular AP. When it comes to 8th subdivision, A2 minus A1, A3 minus A2, and A4 minus A3. We are going to do this. A2 minus A1 is minus 1 by 2 minus of minus 1 by 2. So you get minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, you get 0. Likewise, A3 minus A2 also minus 1 by 2 minus of minus 1 by 2. You get minus 1 by 2. Same thing. Minus half plus half, you will get 0. And again, minus 1 by 2 minus of minus 1 by 2. Same thing, you will be getting, because the terms are all the same. So you'll be getting 0. So when you have a common difference as 0 is also, it is common. So this is also an AP with common difference 0. And when you add 0, it has no significance. So the next 3 terms will also be minus half, and minus half. When it comes to 9th subdivision, I'm going to do it over here. So A2 minus A1 will be 3 minus 1, which will be 2. A3 minus A2, third term minus second term will be 9 minus 3, which will be 6. And we need not do A4 minus A3 because here itself there is a mismatch. You can clearly see they both are not equal. So therefore, we can conclude by writing it is not an AP. So with that, we are done with 9 subdivision. 10 subdivision, I would like to do it here. So again, A2 minus A1. There are variables that they have used, that's fine. So second term is 2A and first term is A. So 2A minus A is A. Likewise, third term minus second term. Third term is 3A, second term is 2A. So this is also A, 3A minus 2A. And then A4 minus A3. That is fourth term is 4A, third term is 3A. This is also A. Since the differences are the same, we can conclude by saying it is an AP. And also, we can also write the common difference, which is A. And then we find the next 3 terms. The next 3 terms will be just add A. A is the common difference in this particular case. So when we add A to this 4A, we get 5A, we get 6A, and we get 7A. So these are the next 3 consecutive terms of this particular AP. So this is how we do 10 subdivision. When it comes to 11 subdivision, try to have a reference to the question, A2 minus A1. So second term is A square and first term is A. It's very important to know that A square minus A is not A. 2A minus A is A, like the previous subdivision, 2A minus A is A. But A square minus A is not A. We can take this A as common out. That is all we can do. So you get A into A minus 1. Both of them have A. So you take A as common, you get A into A minus 1. You need not do this common out step also. You can just leave it as such. Then A3 minus A2, that is the third term. Third term is A cube and second term is A square. When you look at 11 subdivision. Again here A square can be taken common out because A square is common in both the terms. So when A square is taken common out, you get 1A here. And when this A square is taken out, you get only 1 here. So when you compare these 2 terms, this and this, you can see that both are not the same. First one is A into A minus 1, whereas second one is A square into A minus 1. So we can see the differences are not the same. So we can conclude by writing it is not an AP. So this is very important with respect to 11 subdivision. Now with respect to 12th subdivision, whatever they have given in the question, that is not in the simplified form. So wherever we are able to simplify, we should be able to simplify. Root 2, I cannot do anything. But root 8, if you look at the right side, it can be written like 2 4s are 2 2s are. So from this, for these 2, we can take a 2 common out and we can write it as 2 root 2. Root 8 can be written as 2 root 2. Because when you simplify, when you prime factorize 8, you get 3 2s, out of which out of the 2 2s, we can take 1 2 outside. Likewise, 18 also. So 18 is 3 6 times and 3 2 times. Here also for these 2 3s, we can take 1 3 outside. So this becomes 3 root 2. Likewise for 32 also. So 32 is like 2 16, 2 8, 2 4, 2 2. So we have 4 2s. Out of the 4 2s, 2 2s can be taken out. You get 4 root 2. So this is how we convert the question in a simpler way. With respect to the 12th subdivision, root 2 cannot be simplified, but root 8 can be written as 2 root 2. Root 18 can be written as 3 root 2. Because when you simplify, you get 2 3s and 1 can be taken out of the root. And similarly, when you simplify 32, root 32, you get 4 2s. So for each pair of 2s, we can take a 2 outside. So you get 4 root 2. So this will be the AP. And now after converting the 12th subdivision into a simpler version, now you check A2 minus A1. This will be 2 root 2 minus root 2. This will be root 2. Similarly, A3 minus A2. This will be 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2. This will also be root 2. Similarly, A4 minus A3. This will be 4 root 2 minus 3 root 2. This will also be root 2. It's very, very important to know you can't subtract the 12th subdivision directly. What I mean by that is, if you look at the question, root 8 minus root 2 is not root 6. Irrational numbers cannot be operated like that. Root 18 minus root 8 is not root 10. Instead, we simplify them by taking prime factorization, all of that. We bring a simpler version of this question, which is the blue color box. And then you find the common differences, they are the same. So we conclude that it is an AP with the common difference root 2. So this is what we conclude. So we write the common difference as root 2. This is very important. So once we get the common difference as root 2, we are supposed to find the next 3 terms. So once we get the common difference as root 2, we add that root to the next 3 terms to get the next 3 terms. So you will be getting basically 5 root 2, 6 root 2, and 7 root 2. This is what we'll be getting. We can just leave it as such, or we can also bring it in the form of the question. The question is not like this. The question is not like 4 root 2, 3 root 2. All this is something that we simplified. The question is of a different type. So, but now the next 3 terms that we have got is 5 root 2, 6 root 2, and 7 root 2. How to bring it in the form of the question? So basically 2 5s we are taking out, it comes as 1 5, right? So when this 5 goes in, it becomes 25. When it goes inside the root, it gets doubled, it gets squared. So it becomes 25, and there is already a 2 there. So you get root 50. Similarly, when this 6 goes inside, it becomes 36. Because in the root, if we have 2 6, we are bringing 1 6 outside. Outside, if you have 1 6, you're taking 2 6 inside. So 6 times 6 is 36, and there is one more 2. So that will become 72. Likewise, when 7 goes in, it becomes 49, and 49 twice is 98. So we can conclude that the next 3 terms are root 50, root 72, and root 98 with respect to this question. When it comes to 13 subdivision, we are also going to try to simplify it like how we did in 12 subdivision. Let us try that. Root 3 will be root 3. It cannot be simplified further. Root 6 can also be not simplified, because root 6 is just 3 into 2. How can you take it out? Nothing. But root 9 can be written as 3. We know that root of 9 is 3. And root 12 can be written as 4 root 3. Because when you simplify 12, you get 2 6 times, 2 3 times. For this 2, we can take 2 root 3, I'm sorry. For these 2, we can take 1, 2 as common out. So we get like this. So this is the simplified AP. And for this, when we do A2 minus A1, you get root 6 minus root 3, which is not root 3. Very, very important step. Root 6 minus root 3 is not root 3. Root 6 minus root 3 is root 6 minus root 3. Nothing can be done. So irrational numbers can be subtracted only if they are like this. For example, 3 root 3 minus 2 root 3. If the root is the same, then you can write it as root 3. But here root 6 minus root 3 is not root 3. It is just root 6 minus root 3. So again, A3 minus A2. This will be 3 minus root 6. Third term minus second term. Again, this cannot be done anything. You can clearly see these two are 2 different terms. They are not the same. So we conclude by writing it is not an. So this is how we approach the 13th subdivision. With respect to the 14th subdivision, let us try to expand it. So we know 1 square is 1, 3 square is 9, 5 square is 25, and 7 square is 49, and so on. First, let us expand it. And then we find the common differences. So A2 minus A1 will be 9 minus 1, which will be 8. And then A3 minus A2 will be 25 minus 9. This will be 16. So here also we can clearly see the differences do not match. It's very obvious. So therefore here also we conclude by saying it's not an AP. So this is how we do the 13th and 14th subdivisions. When it comes to the last subdivision, that is the 15th subdivision, again we will try to expand this. So 1 square is 1, 5 square is 25, 7 square is 49, and the last term they have given just like that, 73. And now let us try to find the differences. So A2 minus A1 will be 25 minus 1, which will be 24. A3 minus A2 will be 49 minus 25, which will also be 24. A4 minus A3 will be 73 minus 49, which will also be 24. Here the common difference is the same. So we can conclude by writing it as an AP with the common difference 24. And we can find the next three terms by adding 24. So fifth term will be 73 plus 24. This will be 97. Again, sixth term will be 97 plus 24. So likewise, we can keep adding. So this will be 121. Again, seventh term will be 121 plus 24. And this will be 145. So even here we can conclude it by writing 97, 121 and 145. Or we can also conclude by writing 97, 121 is 11 square and 145. So why I'm writing it as 11 square is because in the question also we have some square terms just to make it resemble that format, or else we can just write 97, 121 and 145. So with this we come to the end of first exercise.